could read for years and never stop. I'm just wallowing in it. What the hell are we doing? What is the point? Get me off this roller coaster. Stop it. Stop it. It's real. It's real. It's real. It's so real, it's past even understanding. Because we cannot recognize evil. Because we've been trained from birth to rationalize and engage in crime stuff. We cannot face reality. But George Orwell, Eric Blair, pen name George Orwell, who had been on the imperial side, the communist side, the British propaganda side, he understood it. And what does his book talk about? Black helicopters looking through your walls with x-rays. Telescreens that watch your every move. Children being trained to spy and tattle on their parents. The language being reduced and destroyed. And then you learn that Eric Blair, his family, was married into the Wedgwoods, the Huxleys, the Darwins, and this group of people that developed everything that we are now living under today. They had the vision, and they knew what they were doing. And I'll tell you about somebody else. Aldous Huxley, 1932. He writes a book about the government dumbing children down at birth with chemicals in their food. He writes a book about genetic dictatorship through DNA. Supposedly 15 years before they discovered DNA. But he even described the double helix. They discovered DNA a long time before they told you. They discovered atomic weapons a long time before Max Planck published his book. The truth is, we don't know exactly what's going on. As far as I've gone in research, it's just what's admitted. Can you imagine what else is going on? The history we've been given, everything. You've got to question it. And the system will also sow dissent. It will try to confuse you. It'll try to tell you you don't have any personal power. At the end of the day, you have that guiding light of your soul, your intellect, your spirit, and you know individually you're a good man, you're a good woman, you're a good person, you want good things for people, you're not a control freak, you don't like pain, you don't like suffering, you like a fat little chihuahua sitting in your lap, you like being nice to your neighbor, you know you're a good person, and it is your responsibility to be a leader and to carry on for those that came before you, like Dr. Stan Monteith. I don't know if he's still here tonight. Talk about this more and more because something genetic happens, something in your coding happens when you have children. That's when you really begin yourself dying.
Amen.
That's when you have a love so deep. My love for my children blows away my love for my parents, and I love my parents so much. My love for my children, my wife, can't even compare. And she agrees, she's the same way. Because that's humanity, that's the future. When you look at a little 2-year-old boy or girl full of light and love and discovery, and you see the electric power in their eyes, and you realize how wondrous they are, and you think about how the globalists want to destroy them and fill them full of evil with all their culture of death, then there's no more fear. There's no more fear. At the moment you realize that the greatest expression of the human spirit is what Jesus Christ talked about, laying your life down for another. The globalists... Amen. The globalists, they have all these magazines, Self and Me and all this other stuff. When they sell you on being self-centered, They train these foolish people that that's how you get ahead, and cheating people is fun. But when you create a culture where everybody else is doing it, there's no solace, there's no safe house, there's no honor, there's no trust. I mean, wealth is people you can trust and love. Wealth is family. Wealth is friends. Wealth are those people you can count on. fidelity. True wealth is family. True wealth is friendship. That's all there is. Everything else is going to pass away. There's an old Norse saying that cattle die and kinsmen die, but I know there's one thing that never dies, and that's the fame of a dead man's deeds. But it's more than that. Was it good deeds? Because the people that did bad deeds, they're remembered in a bad way. But it isn't just being remembered. It's that people that come after you will use you as an example and as a model to do the right thing as well. People need those examples. They need those models to expand and build upon the good that came before us. As I started this talk, talking about the people going back 50 years ago that went through all sorts of persecution. It's easy to be Alex Jones today, despite the threats and the attacks and the demonization by the media and the think tanks and the government. It's easy because I can go anywhere I want and speak to thousands of people. I can see the rising tide of the awakening and all the good things that are happening. Imagine being people 50 years ago who did the original research that's brought us to where we are, when people were so gullible because they were so good. They couldn't believe evil. Think about the persecution that folks have gone through to bring us this information, to bring us to the point we are today. This is a long fight. And we're not going to have immediate success at every level right away. It takes time. The globalists built this tyranny over a long period. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. And it is going to take us a long time to reconstruct it. And we have to be careful that in the process of pulling down this tyranny, we don't set up new forms of tyranny in its place.